also noted when we concluded the draft with an R5 Nautilus pick for Fengyue. Now, Top Esports are still contemplating what their last ban of the draft is going to be. It was a Jarvan third ban from Weibo, so that is 2 priority jungle picks from the AD skirmisher pool gone. This leaves things like Wukong still up on the table, but now you're starting to get into the pool of either tank junglers like Maokai and Sejuani, or you go down, you know, the really spicy jungle pool,
which is
Naafiri,
Qiyana,
yeah, some assassins.
Okay.
I wouldn't pick Kha'Zix super early on. I guess you could also look at Mundo for tank junglers as well, Malphite as you mentioned before. But then if tank junglers start becoming a rise in popularity, Trundle might be a solid answer. But right now, we've got Rumble first picked for Weibo to guarantee some priority for Zika. And then, as you called it, Rise and Corki for Top Esports.
So now you have to think, do we maybe look for the Lucian, right? Take away the Lucian-Nami pairing, or take away the Corki-Nami pairing as a 2v2. I haven't seen a ton of Nami from Fengyue, but always something you have to consider. Talia Nocturne could be popular here if we really want to try to make some connections on side lanes. You can see already with Top Esports having this rise, that is something that they can go for. So we're going to at least hover the Cassiopeia. Weibo have a very strong team fight. I mean, just using the Nocturne ultimate to stop your team from, or the enemy team from seeing where the equalizer is very, very powerful.
I won't deny the utility of Paranoia, but I'm always a little skeptical about Nocturne in the meta being locked in without that Orianna combo, because if Nocturne doesn't get rolling, his damage output is very, very uninspiring. Whereas Top Esports, Naafiri locked in. This is a champion that if he finds a priority target, it is super easy to execute an all-in one-shot, or at least completely zoning them out of a fight.
Naafiri is a sheep. I'm just gonna...
True.
So we get in the second phase of bans. We're going to continue to see Elk get his Kai'Sa taken away from him. We saw last year Naafiri was definitely running through the jungle, but I think that Rise was by and far away her best pairing when we saw the two. Just having a point-and-click rune prison set her up so well for success. So NaiYou has been one of the more impressive players from this Top Esports lineup, so I'm not all that shocked to see that we're giving him this champion. We still haven't necessarily chosen a bottom lane here for Weibo Gaming, and you are going to see, you have obviously seen already one half of the pair. So what is Elk and Erha going to be looking for? Are we going to be getting the Yunara into the Corki just to have a little bit more dueling potential from our ADs?
Can't be Yunara.
Oh, true, it is banned. My bad. So what else? I mean, we've seen a lot of Jhin, but that champion has not necessarily been very good. And you're going to be playing into a very strong lane here.
I think Weibo Gaming were trying to set up for Jhin by banning out 2 super tanks in Sion and Ornn, but still, I would not be inspired because K'Sante still exists on the table. Or hell, you could even run a Galio top lane and be able to profit off of double solo lanes and just building a ton of magic resist and then just go for armor later on. Weibo Gaming are forced to now pick their bot lane, not knowing what 369 final pick is going to be. Karma, though, that is a pretty damn good champion to have on your team.
What AD carry you're going to be looking for? It could be a Aphelios. Honestly, Aphelios not all that bad. Can be punished by some of the, you know, crowd control, a Nami wave, Naafiri getting into the back line. I think Top Esports, their draft, yet again, they have some good parts. Decent bottom lane matchup for yourself. You do kind of get countered when we talk about having the rise into Cassiopeia. And I think the range overall from Weibo, you don't even have to do anything on the Nocturne. You can just turn off the lights, and suddenly a lot of these spells are just very, very hard to hit from Top Esports. So I don't really see a top lane that's going to bring this all together, even if it is a Galio. Really doesn't do anything for me. Okay, we've got K'Sante. Who is hitting Karma? Or who is hitting Cassiopeia in this game, right? It needs to be a fed Naafiri. It needs to be a Corki missile that we're just constantly launching into the backline. But if everything goes to plan here for Weibo, if we're just having 5-on-5 standoffs, I love Weibo's composition for this kind of game.
And even then, if Naafiri gets access to the Cassiopeia, I'm curious if you can time the petrifying gaze while Naafiri is surging towards you in air. And if that interaction works and Naafiri is cooked, GG, go next. I'm kind of in the same boat that we saved this counter pick and it just ended up being K'Sante, which sometimes that's just how the matchup goes, where you're trying to save for potentially like a super cool spicy pick, and you're just like, at this point we just need some stability, just lock this in so that Jin hates his life trying to hit a K'Sante that's going to stack a bunch of armor, a bunch of MR. I will say though, going into this matchup, once again, not only, as you mentioned, it's going to be harder to hit these skill shots from the side of Top Esports, but for Weibo, now you have to deal with Curtain Call and Equalizer flying at you with the lights turned off.
And if there's Cassio, obviously that's not going to be great. So the changes we've seen from Top Esports, let's get ourselves a winning bot lane matchup. Let's see if we can do something to equalize that top side. But I'm still looking at this mid jungle. Weibo have been super impressive so far here in this series. And if this team is going to do anything in this playoffs, it's going to have to come off the back of both Jiejie and Xiaohu rising to the occasion.
Let's see if the Unks can still deliver as we head to Summoner's Rift for Game 2.
Okay. I don't know what happened at the beginning of the Top Esports chance.
There was a little bit of desynced gyos there, but you know what? The energy was still there, and for me, that's all that matters.
And some early 1v1s. Junglers are going to be pathing to the opposite sides, but while the information gained by Top Esports is that, hey, Jiejie's not on the top side, they know exactly where NaiYou is. So maybe we try to flip early. You can see that 369 is trying to shove Zika off of this top lane wave. Barrier already used here by JiaQi. And a very expensive 2v2 already popping off between Weibo and Top Esports.
They're not even level 2 yet. It's just the level 1 all-in attempts. Both barriers now expended. Just trying to maintain that health bar advantage. And the last pull in the chamber. Ooh. Gotta be careful about tanking those. Thankfully, he's got a Nami on his side for that extra sustain. Want to check in with where the junglers are starting. Looks like it's gonna be mirrored clears here. So Naafiri will end up on the bottom side of the map. Oh, I like this.
Yes, we have bot lane priority. I mean, our 2v2, this is why they've been kind of fighting. JiaQi and Fengyue are still not even level 2. They'll finally tick over. But after this wave gets shoved in, they can just invade Naafiri. And if Naafiri loses summoner spells or loses even 2 of these camps, I mean, what do you do as Top Esports? You're kind of just completely cut out of this game.
I would log off at that point. Naafiri, it's so critical ever since she got nerfed to have a stable and safe early game so that she doesn't get behind the curve here. It's just a Grom for now, so it's not game losing. Definitely annoying to deal with. I'm curious if NaiYou is going to try and respond by invading the top side of the quadrant where Jiejie has yet to clear his camps. Doesn't look like he can.
Yeah, like blue buff is going to be lost. Rumble can technically go and check for you, but you're splitting the map, and now you're isolating. Fengyue is a 3rd HP, has to recall, which could mean that JiaQi now loses even more minions off of this. Has to valve forward. Thankfully, he's not going to get punished for this. NaiYou's only going to get the single scuttle. Does he make the gamble right now? You need to make a decision immediately. Do I start up his blue buff, or do I just say, I'm going to be out of this, go to my respawn Raptors? NaiYou's going to take this and see if he's not going to get punished, but they'll see Nocturne cross through mid.
Zika's moving first. Top Esports, please tell your jungler, get the hell out of there. You cannot take that blue buff. And NaiYou, I know it is so sad. As a jungler main myself, it pains me to have to leave a camp I just started up, but that's just how the matchup goes when you don't have priority in your solo lanes.
Maybe he tries to go for a steal. Jiejie has no idea he's here, so he might actually equalize. The blast cone, it sent the packmate over, so Jiejie knows he's here. Oh
wow.
My, that is
Ultimate
such a
anime
small
betrayal.
Interaction.
Dude, just watching NaiYou have to struggle like this is so sad. I've been here before. I know this pain, and Weibo Gaming get the profit off of it. Jiejie just showing off a jungle masterclass right now, denying almost everything from NaiYou's Naafiri and preventing him from getting off to a hot start here in game 2.
Okay, and I want to explain to fans at home, because all they're going to see is that it's a single camp lead here for Jiejie, because that's really all it materializes into. But you're going to have to find another avenue to try to equalize some of that discrepancy, and depending on what ends up happening, it could mean that either Jiejie hits level 6 beforehand, or NaiYou just essentially doesn't get to complete his first item on the same wave that Jiejie does. NaiYou tries to go for an invade, but guess what? Weibo's bot lane completely covers for this Nocturne.
And NaiYou's forced to flash over the wall because he's caught by Jiejie. I mean, what Weibo is doing is giving up timers in lane priority just to make sure that NaiYou doesn't have a good pre-level 6 clear. And so it's just wastes so much time for NaiYou while Jiejie is still farming camps while he's still coming to the places and matching NaiYou on the map.
And you don't even get anything for this, so it's not like the lanes that are losing all that much. You're still even in bottom side. Zika is doing fine in this lane, and now Jiejie here, you get the flash from Fengyue. This is going great here for Weibo, and this was supposed to be a lane that is succeeding, or at least able to pressure early.
Yeah, this is just such an efficient game from Jiejie. He's invading, he's forcing NaiYou to take really delayed and inefficient paths on the map. He's still putting pressure and burning summoner spells on the bot lane. I'm in love, man. This is just awesome gameplay from Jiejie, and he's gonna return back. He's not level 6 quite yet, but they know that there is no flash. He's gonna flash right on top of Fengyue. First blood for Jiejie's Nocturne.
He says, "Give me that. You're playing Elk. You're playing Jin, okay, brother? Let me take this kill. This one's mine." And guess what? There's even a scuttle camp that is going to be spotting. But for Jiejie here, it is about get our recalls in. Let's go ahead and take our top side as well. Weibo getting another good early game here between them and Top Esports. And a big criticism that I have had for TES throughout the year so far is that even in some of their wins, it has taken them way too long to figure out how they want to play their composition. I think in that last game, they had ideas, they had machinations as to how they wanted to get it done, but even in this one, it feels like we didn't succeed in the bot lane dive, or in the bot lane 2v2. The jungle's obviously been cut off at the legs, so now as Top Esports, you need to do something that I have not really seen from them, and that is be creative in how they want to solve this issue.
And now we look forward in the game. 1 minute ahead before grub spawn. Dragon has already arrived to Summoner's Rift. Jiejie is literally 1 minion away from level 6. Dings it. Doesn't even need that Scuttle Crab. NaiYou does hit level 6 himself, but Paranoia now being available makes the whole map very terrifying for Top Esports members everywhere. So they have to respect it. Good use of the equalizer from Zika just to pressure 369 off the wave and ensure that he cannot return. Jiejie starts up the dragon. NaiYou is waiting in the banana brush, not spotted.
Able to be seen. Bot lane can't even walk up because Erha is completely zoning this side of the fight. They have wait, yeah, you just go.
Immediate Paranoia onto the flashless Nami. That Nami is cooked, but NaiYou responds, finds one on the Jiejie, gets revenge for everything that has happened, and Elk will fall next. NaiYou waits for his moment, and he strikes back with a vengeance felt by junglers everywhere that get their camp stolen all early game.
Who cares that he even dies for that play? Weibo tried to snap back, use the Paranoia, but JiaQi gets 2 kills, and he gets these plates. That is a good answer. Finally, any kind of decision making from Top Esports to get back into this early game. That is a great solution from them.
And it was so desperately needed for Top Esports to find some momentum back. Maybe now they can use that to leverage an advantage off of these grubs with Jiejie. Yeah, Jiejie's the first one here, redeployed and instantly booked it to at least get one of these off the map before the rest of Top Esports show up here. And at least denies all 3 grubs going over to Top Esports. He might be able to snag another.
Yeah, he has the control ward. There are no buttons. Zik is even faded down into the river, so they don't know that he's here. I love this play. I mean, the thought of it is great. Naafiri is nowhere nearby. I think that they spend a lot of time trying to kill Nami thanks to ultimate there. Not enough damage, and then JiaQi just turns, uses the Valkyrie to get right on top of Erha and Alk. And while NaiYou goes down, I think getting plates onto this Corki is very important, especially with the temperature that we've seen from this game. And that's another wave that Alk and Erha are not going to be able to touch. So I like the idea of this, and the execution obviously gets them at least a small advantage. But I need to see a lot more than this to feel even more confident that Top Esports can be competitive tonight.
Yeah, they were definitely leveraged a little bit of a window to get back in, but Weibo Gaming, we're the ones that constructed that lead in the first place. Let's see if Top Esports can find some creativity back in their sails for themselves. No objectives for another 3 minutes here. First Dragon did go over to Weibo Gaming, as we saw. So right now, first item spikes yet to have been completed by any member on the Rift, but I imagine that the first one might be able to pick it up. Either is going to be Jiejie on this Nocturne or JiaQi on this Corki.
It's probably going to be both of our mid laners. I mean, Rod of Ages, once you have Catalyst and Blasting Wand, is 450, so very cheap to try to finish this item. And I want to see what Creme is going to do in this game, because I do think that his side laning has been more improved as we've seen him be on this Top Esports roster from 2024. Seeing Zika just try to trade you're into Cassante. I don't even know why I bothered. Nocturne is coming potentially. Side lane plays are very easy for Top Esports because not only can the Fury be super mobile, but Realm Warp is super, super good for that.
Now 369 just went all out. Now flashes once the lights were turned out.
Oh
and
my
it
god.
Might be his lights going out. Zika's forced to go under the tower to chase him under, but he flashes before the last turret shot could connect. Well played by the Weibo Gaming jungle top duo.
Realm Warp potentially here for Creme. He's going to get spotted as soon as he crosses this barrier. This is a little close to the turret.
Creme.
I don't like this.
Oh, Creme. He's looking for Zika, but he has the blast shield. Creme cannot get the job done, and Jiejie is able to body block the incoming runes from Top Esports.
I never thought that I would call Rise AP Graves, but we're in that scenario right now. Body blocks the projectiles, and Rise can do nothing. That was Ghost and the Realm Warp being used. Zika didn't even have to do very much. He just canceled his recall, walked back under his turret, did it anyway, comes back to top lane. An unfortunate line of events there for Top Esports, but Weibo are going to feel more than happy. You got Cassiopeia to get a recall in, pushed another wave, and tried to steal another one of these. An important thing to note is that while we've seen a lot of jungle interaction, the fact that NaiYou is not only staying within touching distance of Jiejie, but more importantly, he's out on the map. That is information that is being used by Weibo saying, okay, we know where their enemy jungle is. We do not have to fear that Nefiri is going to do something in one of these lanes because she's always on vision somewhere.
Right now, taking a base on the top side, just making sure that 369 is covered on this wave. And there was no angle to play for Zika, who was down a flash. After the all-in they looked for Creme, is he in trouble? He has good vision on the bottom side of the river. Erha just walks up and says, back off, buddy. I'm here with my snake friend and just making sure that we get pushed for this wave. It is 10 seconds before the second dragon of the game. Erha just guaranteeing that Xiaohu can get first push here.
Be very good if we can get this flash away from Creme. Nocturne's going to cross through mid right now. Already has the experimental hex plate. Fengyue is late, and that's something that might be a bit worrisome here for Top Esports, but the wave is going to be in favor of them bot side, so they'll immediately move in. Creme cannot join right now. He has no Realm Warp, and there's a mid wave, right? And Xiaohu and Erha are playing the River Brush.
Elk might be far, but he does have curtain calls, so he has some time to look for and engage. But Weibo's saying, you know what? Let's not go for it. We'll let them have the dragon. Elk gets guaranteed touch on this minion wave that he can farm on up, and everyone else just goes back to playing the standard game.
All right. Raafaa, I am tentatively excited right now. Also, Jin, hopefully you finish your collector soon. There it is. Hits the recall. Brian is able to go back to base. But I'm still waiting because Cassiopeia eventually is going to kind of eat this Rise alive, and with the Nocturne, you kind of cut away at what was potentially going to be a way for Top Esports to answer, which is go to make side lane plays, then go and rotate back in. Now, Xiaohu is a little far up.
Tidal wave in the bubble, but paranoia for the reinforcements. Jiejie forcing the flash out of Fengyue, still gets speared up and gets locked down for the kill. Xiaohu running down JiaQi with the twin fangs and the Notches blast, and Jiejie finishes him off.
I thought he was a little bit far up, but it turns out that when Nocturne is within 1,500 units of you, you're never really alone. You're always going to have that distant pen pal available. Let's see if they can make a play onto Zika. Still no TP or flash. I think we're just stealing camps where we can, and this is gold into Cassiopeia's pockets. You got those kills for yourself.
Ooh, counterplay. Xiaohu, he might have stayed on this minion wave a little too long, because Sante's coming in. Wow, they really wanted to make sure that Xiaohu did not get out of this one alive. That will give free push, though, to Zika on the top side. Can he get some plates for his troubles? Maybe.
That was really expensive. Like, he just recalled, or he didn't even finish it. He just teleports. You get the kill, but now you're giving gold over to Rumble. Crystalline Overgrowth's gonna kick in. I don't like this play from Top Esports. I think that was a little desperate, and we're 15 minutes in. We don't need desperate plays at 15 unless we really think we are not killing Cassiopeia there.
Rift Herald just spawned on the map, so 369 cannot answer for this. Zika still has his empowered teleport, so then he might be able to just walk on over. At least he is matching 369's push on the bottom side of the map. Weibo Gaming are the first ones into the top side river, but they have to contest the minion wave push here in mid first. JiaQi on this Corki with the power of Nami will always give him first shove. At least Top Esports are now moving into the river.
This is probably the biggest nightmare for anybody watching, because Corki Gatling gun is currently audibly bugged, as it has been for multiple years at this point. Yeah, it's the only thing I can hear. I can hear the... It's bad. We saw a pretty big amount of vision control here by Weibo. They had 3 control wards littering the top side. Made it a little bit less comfortable for Top Esports to walk into river, so no Herald's going to be started. And we kind of go back to some of these standard lanes. At least their laning opponents are going to face off against each other. Nefiri and Nocturne are here. I wonder if our top laners are going to try to get a little bit busy.
369, half HP, Zika close to it, 369 flashes away, now trying to back him up, but he can't see, so he can't target anyone, and he just realizes that 369 is not getting bailed out this time, especially since Xiaohu committed a teleport to the play. NaiYou will have to let this turret fall while Creme is pushing on the top side. NaiYou gets flashed on as Zika is running him down with the flame spitter. This hot dog almost got roasted.
So Creme gets some plates topside. Mid lane, it seems like JiaQi and Fengyue are starting to put a little bit of damage down, but this is just going to be our mid laners trading plates for plates on opposite sides. Now this Rumble TP makes it a little less good for Top Esports. Sorry for my language, the very, very basic there in that instance, but sometimes you just got to reach for the easy answer.
Yeah, I mean, look at this. The fact that Zika had his teleport saved when 369 expended it on that very expensive play bites Top Esports in the behind. We have Rift Herald still available for the taking. Top Esports trying to bleed their forces into the top side and punish Zika. I don't know if it's going to be possible.
Oh, Lascon's going to save Jiejie here. Erha.
Okay.
Engaged upon, has to flash out, very important. We have Herald still up, and K'Sante no TP to join here. Especially with just having this Jin, the Deadly Flourish is so good.
Tidal Wave already used, but Jiejie's into the backline, gets chunked,
oh my.
And the Nefiri daggers puts an end to his life, but NaiYou is caught, and Weibo Gaming trade jungler for jungler. Might not be enough for them to feel confident about taking the Herald, and Creme has to be answered with on the top side.
I'm more happy about this right here. I mean, you just got 2 side lane outer turrets for both Creme and for 369. That feels pretty good, and you went 1 for 1 on the jungles. I think you're okay with that kind of trade right here. Where does all this damage come from? Because I was not at all expecting Jiejie to get burst out like this. Tidecaller's Blessing, he gets knocked up. Oh my god. Tidecaller's Blessing on Nefiri, plus the Darking Dagger's bleed, double Q. It just disappeared. Okay, my bad. I was unfamiliar with the amount of damage that would have done there, but 2-item Nefiri, hell of a drug. This is going to be the Dragon started here for Top Esports. 0 contest from Weibo Gaming. Raafaa, that play by itself with the kill and the turrets, that might have actually just gotten Top Esports back in.
Yeah, it was a big swing for Top Esports, and was one that wasn't necessarily of Top Esports' own creation. It was Weibo Gaming pressing the advantage forward and just underestimating how much of the damage was going to be ready for, or as a response from both the Corki and the Nefiri. The fact that she still deals that much damage, not building any lethality. Just saying, this champion is still quite good in the right pockets here. And if NaiYou is super based, now that there's a Creme in the game, I want to see a Serpent's Fang third item.
You
Reduce their
have
shields.
been the biggest salesman of this item, and even okay, we're gonna.
It's
I
so
would like
good.
it as well. I think it's good. It's good. Chrome warp. Does he get
Creme.
out? Creme.
Yes, sir. Oh, the burn,
does
the
he
burn,
burn?
the burn, the burn, the burn, the burn.
Woo!
No! Lives with 80 HP. Not even close. Rift Herald trying to be taken by NaiYou and crew. JiaQi now alone in the Rift Herald pit. NaiYou trying to see if he can at least smite it over the wall. Who's going to touch the eye? Touch the
NaiYou.
eye. Jiejie clips it. Rift Herald has been secured for Weibo Gaming.
Wondering how crude I can be on this stream because, you know, you were talking about touching the eye. It is technically a pink eye on the. The moment has
Tidal wave
passed.
used.
Unfortunately, we can
The
use
window
it next
has
game, maybe.
closed,
Yeah.
potentially.
No Herald.
369's
Can we go
position.
for more?
Equalizer tries to kill the wave before 369 makes an approach with that flank. Top Esports not able to make any moves onto a below 50% HP Jin. Alk will get a chance to safely base.
So there is going to be a window of time here. It's about a minute where Creme is going to have finished his Rod of Ages, has already the Seraphs completed, and now JiaQi is also done with Trinity Force plus Muramana. So this is a very big spike for Top Esports.
Jiejie pulls the trigger onto NaiYou and forces the flash out. JiaQi forced the Valkyrie away from the tether of Erha. Deadly Flourish did connect on NaiYou, but way too far away to follow up on properly. Weibo Gaming burning a lot of flashes here, or at least one out of NaiYou. Still about 2 minutes and 40 seconds before the next dragon of the game spawns, but it is good to try and cycle these summoner spells while they have the chance.
You could see that Weibo, they're way too invested on the mid wave, and Creme is just constantly squeezing waves. It's always a plate here in top side, another wave in the top lane. So he is gaining a very big advantage. He has 40 CS up over this Cassiopeia at 21 minutes.
Zika pops the Rift Herald here while Top Esports are dancing in the river with the other members of Weibo Gaming.
Zika!
Poke being traded. Oh, Zika wants to run them over! Fast and furious, he goes in for the two-man knock-up! Someone call an ambulance because there are corpses on the ground and there is a madman on the loose. Zika able to ram into the turret. Equalizer over the top as well. Oh no, Fengyue is going to get burned down to the Liandry's Torment, barely survives, but the siege might just be good enough for Weibo Gaming to take out the tier 1 turret as Jiejie threatening on the right side, has Paranoia available a second time in this fight. 369 and Creme trying to hold it as long as possible, just one more auto attack, Petrifying tries to block it and Creme steps too far forward. The tier 1 turret finally falls and Weibo Gaming get their prize.
And that's such an important timer for Top Esports. You have level 16 Rise. This is third point in his ultimate. Massive overload damage with his Q, but steps a little too far up. Gets hit with the last moment Petrifying Gaze from Xiaohu. We'll take a look at this fight again. Zika, very creative way to get out of this one. Just walks over 369, uses the Zonias to avoid the W, and then even jumps in mid-Zonias, which I think is really interesting tech. The double knockup, this allows for the Deadly Flourish to land on the JiaQi. And again, look at where Creme is on the minimap. He is nowhere near this play. He is kind of the big part of the gold lead here for Top Esports with how ahead he is. Go catch out Zika, that's great. You have 40 seconds before Dragon, you need to make this snappy.
It was a teleport exhausted by 369 to make this pick happen. Nothing more will be burned by Zika, just accepts his fate. He will be back up on the Rift in 43 seconds time, which will be more than 20 seconds before this next dragon spawns. Weibo Gaming, and they're going to have to put in some heavy lifting when it comes to vision control to make sure that they can still get first walk into this river. But Jiejie trying to wait for an unsuspecting member. Paranoia on the two. Deadly Flourish connects. Good night, JiaQi and Fengyue. What an excellent response from Weibo Gaming to find the bot lane before the dragon spawns.
You're just too far up, and who cares about the dragon? We're going for Baron. We have Cassiopeia on this objective. 2 members dead on Top Esports. Take the free objective. Top Esports, though, it seems like they want to try to contest. Honestly, why don't we just trade for Soul Point? I don't think you lose the game for the next 2.5 minutes. They're going to try and flip it now.
Oh, this could be tricky. They are taking a lot of damage from this Baron, and the armor and the MR is going to be shredded. Creme and NaiYou with 369 might be able to pull off a miracle here. It's a 3 versus 5. 3,000 HP. NaiYou goes in with the ultimate, goes in the W. 2,000 HP. NaiYou steals the Baron under Jiejie's nose in a 3v5. 369 is holding the line, might go down, but he goes down a hero, able to even take out Jiejie with him. Weibo Gaming fumble the Baron.
You don't have the petrifying gaze, but Creme and NaiYou get right in there, steal the Baron, and now they get the Dragon as well, so you get the soul point available for them. Top Esports, some creative pathing, yes, but almost trying to make some unforced errors occur here in this one. That is a super tricky play for them to go for. They keep finding plays on side lanes. Look back at this play. 369's on the other side. He's incredibly tanky. And this ultimate from NaiYou gets him right into the pit. Uses the W to dodge out on that ultimate from Xiaohu. 369 flash. Gets the 2-man stun on the 2 members. Really well played from the top side of Top Esports to not only get this objective, but get kills and then set themselves up for success with the objective control.
Obviously super well played from Top Esports, but once again, this is a moment we have seen from Weibo Gaming in prior games where it just feels almost like they are way too disrespectful of what their opponents can do. Taking a 50-50 smite like that, Jiejie, I've seen some God Smites from you, but that was very, very
Jiejie,
bold.
no,
and Jiejie
brother.
wants to send it now onto a 369 K'Sante. Ain't no way he's going down anytime soon, and Weibo Gaming now find themselves here on the back foot.
Who is matching Creme at this point in terms of damage? He is almost 300 CS at 26 minutes. It is incredible to watch this guy play this champion right now. Seeing another play happen in mid, but there's just no damage. Look at how tanky 369 is. And we wanted to see Creme step up big time. This is a huge series if he can make it happen.
Realm War?
Doesn't even use the Realm War. Fakes them out.
Still pushing on the top side. Who's going to answer Creme? Weibo Gaming are being pulled apart at the seams, and Top Esports are running their pockets right now when it comes to map play. Xiaohu finally answers with Erha, trying to weave between both top and mid lane. But the Baron empowered minions are doing all the heavy lifting. They're doing all the work here, and the siege is just so beautiful from Top Esports.
We've seen gold leads be very
Zika?
tenuous this season. Zika is spotted on this flank.
They turn the lights out. Where does the equalizer go? Tries to cut off one escape route.
Oh,
Jiejie
no.
goes down, has the GA for the pop, but everyone from Top Esports has disengaged beautifully. They can now reposition and look for a re-engage. Creme is coming. He's looking for the Rune Prison tidal wave. Looks to find the ball. Petrifying Gaze holds Creme at the front line, but they still have to retreat. Empowered Shield from Karma keeps them all alive, but Alk is the first one to bite the dust, and Top Esports are going to push this into the base. How much more can they get?
They're going to back off after this inhibitor. They also have another wave top lane. Maybe thought 369 was going to recall and try to TP back in, but they're going to cut their losses. Baron is down 2.5 minutes before this dragon spawns, and it'll be their soul if they can grab this. Top Esports have fought back after what was an incredible early game from Weibo Gaming, but they didn't have the soul to get them back in. And so far, I mean, in this game alone, Creme has done so much to keep them in. And I don't think the scoreline has necessarily reflected some of his impact here.
You might look back at this game and think 0, 1, and 2, okay, Creme did nothing, but he's been side split pushing this entire game, and that kind of pressure cannot go unanswered for too long. Otherwise, you end up with now an open base through the top side of the map, which gives Top Esports an easier path to closing out this game. We're about 1 minute and 40 from Infernal Soul Point spawning in favor of Top Esports, ahead 3,000 gold. The game is not lost for Weibo Gaming, but you cannot help but feel that it was their own undoing that caused them to be in this state.
Just taking inventory as we head into this fight in a minute. No flash on Elk or on Zika for Weibo Gaming. You'll be missing some flashes, but these are huge items. There's that Serpent's Fang that you wanted to see coming out from Jiejie. Has a hell of a lot of damage with the Imperial Mandate on his Nami. And an Actualizer here for Creme. I was a little worried because I saw Verdant Barrier and I was like, oh, he's potentially delaying his 3-item spike, but he got so much gold on a side lane. It is 29 minutes off. I keep bringing this up. He's ahead of 10 CS per minute, and he has been for a huge portion of this game. So that's resulting in a 1,600 gold lead over Xiaohu, and very little for Weibo to do. I thought maybe Cassiopeia would have something to do this game, but we're not chewing through 369, and we're not definitely beating these guys now.
Quick flash out of 369, finds the Q3 on the Zika. Equalizer comes down, but it's only tagging a couple targets. The rest of the backline for Top Esports are relatively safe. Already a 5-on-4 in favor of Top Esports, and 369 has a teleport to rejoin the fray.
They're just completely controlling the lanes. I loved what Top Esports have put together here in this game. They've been really on top of making side lane plays multiple times, trying to pick out either Zika or Xiaohu, and that was exactly what we wanted to see with a draft like this. Now again on mid.
Engaged onto the backline. Fengyue and JiaQi are the targets, but the response from NaiYou and Creme save Fengyue's life. They cannot take back JiaQi, but they will take everything else from Weibo Gaming. Alk and Erha are forced to watch their entire top side die, and that means Top Esports claim a free Infernal Soul.
Oh boy, an Infernal Soul, and it's triple Infernal Dragon, by the way. So you're getting, if I remember, it is still 6%. You're getting 18% ability power and attack power. Like, this is way too much damage for Top Esports to deal with. And even if that number isn't right, you still get 3 Infernal Dragons and a Soul. I'll take that any day of the week over what Weibo currently have. Is it 4? Well, I guess we'll figure it out now, but...
Maybe. I do not remember off the top of my head. But Top Esports are going to continue taking everything off the map. Jiejie just spawned. If they can get vision, he can try and look for a Hail Mary, but I don't know if he's going to get in range before the Baron is even available. Yep. Baron Asher gone. Top Esports now up over 5,000 gold. And game 2 is looking pretty chalked in favor of Top Esports.
There we go. I got the correction. It is 9%. Still better than 0, which is what Weibo currently
Absolutely.
have. Yeah, and very hard to throw with the Soul. We have seen a couple of those games, but again, is up to Top Esports here. I mean, you have such a massive differential going on, and I do really want to applaud. Again, we've spent a lot of time talking about Creme. I think that JiaQi has really recovered after what was a bit of a softer early game, not only in this one, but in the last game. This Corki has completely outranged what Weibo were going to have happen here. I talked about in the draft that I liked Weibo and what they were able to do, but they have really lacked the ability to do anything with this Cassiopeia, and Jiejie plus Zika has not done very much here. I've been quite disappointed with some of the team fights we have seen from this team.
I mean, we talked about it before. If Nocturne is on ahead of the curve and starts to fall behind, this champion does no damage, cannot threaten a backline, unlike a Nefiri when she is this fed. This bot lane inhibitor tower starting to get pressured now by Top Esports, almost losing 3 plates in 1 push. Weibo Gaming doing everything they can to clear out these minion waves, but the Baron empowered cannon minions did a lot of work, and Creme is now pressuring from the inside track in mid lane.
Inhibitor is going to be respawning in 4 seconds in mid lane, but you're going to be losing all across the base. Weibo, we have to do something. Baron is up for another minute here. At some point, you have to draw the line. It seems like it's going to be their Nexus turrets in which Weibo are going to try to mount a defense.
Jiejie got his GA back, so it's now or never. Top Esports try to close out the game right here. Already a lot of damage into Alk's health bar, down to nearly 50% HP. Trying to see if he can step up safely for a bullet in the chamber, but with Collector, Rapid Fire, and Last Whisper, I don't know how much damage he is realistically putting out. Jiejie sends it, looks for Fengyue, doesn't kill him, and his GA is gonna pop in the middle of all 5. Curtain Call at the ready, trying to fend them off for now. Finds 1, but can he find all 5? Xiaohu doing everything he can to defend his base, but NaiYou sends it with the ultimate, and Top Esports will push Elk back right into their waiting arms and even the series.
There we go, Top Esports. We got hands tonight, brothers. I like the look. Really, really good. Weibo, maybe a bit stunned after that game. Very few options for them to go for, but the early game looked good. And remember, this was NaiYou trying to find something, constantly trying to invade, gets cut off before he can really do much, but it doesn't end up mattering. I really liked what we saw in the side lanes from Creme in this game.
I think the persistence definitely needs to be applauded from NaiYou, because that was a really, really rough early game to experience as a jungler when Jiejie has priority in a majority of his lanes and is using that expertly to push and pull you around the jungle, burning your flash early so that you can't even go for early plays. But NaiYou makes his moment count on that level 6 mark after the first dragon, gets him and JiaQi some kills. And the other thing to applaud as well is, once top esports are in a position where you think, okay, yeah, Weibo Gaming have this totally figured out, they never back down. They never give up, and they still play for the very, very, very small percentage what if scenario. And still, it makes us question Weibo Gaming. How consistent are these guys? How reliable are these guys when it comes to having post 20-minute leads?
They were really questionable. Now, I will give Weibo some credit here, Raafaa. A Baron Smite fight is really not... like you're taking a 50-50 there. You can maybe make the argument that you probably shouldn't do that, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of chaos happening, and I think that Jiejie historically has been good for it, right? We've seen a lot of monster Smite fights. He lost this one. It's unfortunate, but you had a really, really solid game 1, and you were winning for most of this game. So, or a decent chunk of the early game at least. So, I think that there is still at least some kind of, I guess, good feelings that it can still generate here for Weibo. I'm not super disappointed. I am a bit worried, though, that cool, top esports won this game, but, like, I look at this gold graph, right? It wasn't an overwhelming gold lead that they had, but just the manner in which it looked was significantly more convincing than what top esports showcased.
Sure. It's still a Weibo Gaming early driven advantage that is happening in this series so far, both games 1 and 2. It just happened to be that top esports clutched a comeback in this second one. Yeah. But going to game 3, I think you only start to potentially worry about Weibo Gaming if they start losing these early games. Then we get into what was the BLG series territory, where they were getting blasted before the game even started coming into its own.
And I want to also maybe juxtapose this with some of what we have seen statistically. So far in playoffs, Weibo are averaging a minus 2,000 gold lead difference at 15. That is insane, and one of the highest that we have seen here in playoffs this year. But so far in this game, I would say that at 15, they've been ahead on average. So they are not only performing better in their early games just in this series, but they are at least doing it in a convincing fashion. And a lot of this is around bottom lane. This is exactly the kind of prescription that we wanted to get from this series. Put all your eggs into Elk, see what you can do. Jin's just not that kind of champion. It's not really a hyper carry. This is a very tight turn, by the way, from Zika. I didn't even notice this in the first time we saw this. But also have to call into question Xiaohu, right? This is a counter matchup. You have Cassiopeia, who has so much range, has a lot of setup, and I think some of that burden to carry this game does come down onto him. And top esports stopped all of that by making constant side plays to catch out Zika on the Rumble.
So going forward into the draft phase, more power picks have been taken off, like the Corki and the Nami, which has been a very, very strong, not just laning duo, but also pretty competent team fighting duo, since Corki almost just feels like a monster once he does get in range and he has the Tidecaller's blessing with him. We have now seen 4 pretty strong AD carries. Varus and Ashe have been consistently banned this entire draft. We've seen some Kai'Sa bans as well. I think once those AD carries start coming up, those have stronger comp identities that they want to fit in. Kai'Sa with strong dives, and then with Ashe, I mean, anytime you see Ashe, you feel like a Seraphine is also coming right behind it.
Yeah, Ashe Seraphine has been consistently the combo we have seen. I also want to bring up the fact of the mid pools right now, because Orianna, Azir, Ryze, and Cassiopeia, we still have Creme's Akali, we still have his Yone in this series, and those are super dangerous champions to allow him to play on. He is a full class above what we have seen from Xiaohu, and I'm starting to worry because some of Xiaohu's mage pool is kind of limited. Like, the next most champion he's going to be able to play or have access to is either the Syndra or the Aurora, and that can be a little bit hit or miss, especially if we're going to be seeing some of these assassins come on through for Creme. So that's going to be my focus going into this next game. What exactly is our 1v1 and maybe our 2v2 setup between mid-jungle going into game 3?
Yeah. Start to see that assassin pool come out. But speaking of assassins, shout out to NaiYou's Nefiri, who, despite a rough early game patch from Jiejie's doing, bounced back tenfold, even clutched out an epic Baron steal, which was game winning.
That saved the game.
Yeah. Really, really clutch for one of the newer members of Top Esports who has had to fill in the shoes of Kanavi. And, shout out to NaiYou. He's made it farther in playoffs than Kanavi did. Sorry, HLE fans. With that being said, Game 2 is wrapped up. We'll see you on the other side of the break for Game